Good afternoon, New Path Nation. From wherever you are, I welcome you to New Path Live. My name is Dan Harrison. I am your host. Today is March 11th, and a day that is significant for a couple of reasons. People that are paying any attention at all to the news have heard about a few things happening this week. Most importantly, kind of a retrospective on what was happening 1 year ago. Let's get right into it. March 11th of last year, I was in the DDS central office in downtown Boston. I am on the ADDP board of directors, and I am on the executive board as the ADDP clerk. And so monthly, we meet as a small committee, but quarterly, we meet at central office because the second half of our meeting is dedicated to meeting with DDS. And so this is with Jade Ryder, the commissioner, Elizabeth Morris, the deputy commissioner. And I pulled out the agendas for that meeting that afternoon, 1 year ago today. And the coronavirus is on those agendas, but look where they are. It is the very last item on the ADDP agenda and second to last on the DDS agenda. And at that time, we were concerned, and we've been asked to begin to consider worst case scenarios with DDS that would plan for the closure of programs. I remember it being up to 3 weeks, and we were horrified with the thought that our programs could be closed for 3 weeks. But after that meeting, I took the commissioner, Jade Ryder, aside in the hallway, and I asked her if she would do a video with me. It was, going on 4 o'clock, and the rest of the people had filed out. And I wanted her to feature her for our promotion and marketing around our Walk the Walk. Yeah, we had that a year ago. And just the week before, we had kind of launched the campaign for the year. For those of you who are new to NuPath, our Walk the Walk is our biggest and most important fundraiser of the year. And we had talked about our theme being powered up. We had looked at setting our goals of 275,000, and we were looking at sponsorships and all the rest. We were full tilt. We were all systems go. But before I could do that, I digress. As I was taking Jane to a lighted, a bright spot to do the video, we were stopped by Commissioner Ryder's chief of staff. I won't mention his name, Chris Thompson. He's a good guy. I no hard feelings. But he said, "What are you doing? You can't be doing this. You can't do a video with her." He said, "It would be fair. Other agencies would want her to do videos with them." And I said, "Well, could you take a picture, please, with my phone that I could use in some sort of material?" Of course, Jane, look at her face. She's just all about it. And he's like, "I'm not touching your phone. Have you heard there's a pandemic?" And it was the first time I remember thinking this is something possibly quite serious. And he said, "Take a selfie if you want." And I said, "Well, thank you very much for your help." And I came back to NuPath. Greg remembers that story, me telling him that story. But that just shows what was going on. Now, the day before, March 10th, Governor Baker declared a state of emergency. He had issued guidance talking about having people work virtually, if at all possible, trying to limit large gatherings, warning people with comorbidities and that were older to stay out of the crowds. It was the very day that New York City canceled its St. Patrick's Day parade, and it was the first communication that I had with the NuPath family, assuring them that we had heightened our cleaning protocols and that we were washing hands, and we were reminding people about all of these safeguards as we knew them to be at that time. Certainly there were no masks being worn, even if we could find them, as some of you may remember. But it was just the beginning of a desperate and frenetic, sort of 10 days or so, as everything we knew as normal began to collapse around us. The very day that I was down at my meetings in Boston on the 11th, I came out to hear that Trump had issued a 30-day travel ban, and that the WHO had officially it had identified the coronavirus as a pandemic. And so that raised things to a new level. Thursday, the 12th, more things were announced as being closed. All the Broadway theaters went dark. Schools all across the country closed, including Boston City, Boston schools. Athletes and professional sports came to a halt, and even Disney announced park closures. And we made the decision at that point to, I think we said, postpone our fundraiser. It was such a hard decision for me. Even then, I was thinking, oh, this will be done. This will be done by April when we're having our walk. It just seemed inconceivable that something like this would last longer than that. And on Friday the 13th, it's fitting. The Boston Marathon was canceled or postponed. Governor Baker announced he was prohibiting gatherings more than 250 people. We made the decision that we were going to close our day programs for the clients we serve, even as we asked our day program staff to report on Monday. And I remember that afternoon driving out to Northampton, Massachusetts, having conversations with Ellen Taliadis from ADDP and other colleagues that we made the decision to close. We were the second organization in the state to have formally made the decision, although after the weekend, a heightened number had also followed our lead, and by the couple days later, it was we had no choice, frankly, but to close it. I'm not going to go into the rest of the year because you guys lived it with me. The hellscape that was all of the quarantining, the not knowing, the COVID care center at NuPath, the way we were thrust into the whole exercise of using virtual opportunities. But now we're getting back to better. And we can have the advantage of looking back over the past year and taking what we've learned and how we've improved and how we've strengthened and how we responded to the challenge. We talked about this last week, but I think it's great. A setback, it's a setup for a comeback. And we've been working right along through this whole thing to think about how we can improve our services and how we're going to be a better organization. Very quickly, because we're short for time, most of you have heard by now that yesterday the U.S. House of Representatives voted to approve the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. It is a sweeping $1.9 trillion relief package, and we are very happy that it has been signed into law. Anchor, the national, and by the way, as of this morning, I didn't know, but Biden has signed it, so it's official. Anchor, the national trade organization that does advocacy in the IDDD arena, is very pleased and points out that of that 1.9 trillion, there is as much as 13 billion that is going to the home and community-based waiver programs, and that is what NuPath is a part of. So there's a lot of money that's going to be given to states to assist with congregate care settings and so forth. Very quickly, the bullets is a 10% increase in the federal Medicaid match, an expansion of the payroll protection program, $350 billion of funding for state and local governments, and we've been told that $8 billion will be coming to Massachusetts. Of course, the $1,400 relief checks for all but the highest income households, and an historic expansion of the child tax credit, which is expected to lift an estimated 4.1 million children out of poverty and reduce overall child poverty by as much as 45%. So this is going to be a direct benefit to many of the staff who have families that work for us, and we are very grateful for that. So that is very, very positive news, and I'm happy to be getting back to better. The next week or so, people will be hearing lots of things about where things were a year ago, and I think it's good sometimes to look back. Now, before I bring in my very special guests of Jim and Joanne Kraft, I want to ask Brett to come in because we promised you that we'd do a drawing for any staff person who's been vaccinated, received both the vaccines. Tomorrow, I'm going to be getting my second one, Brett, as I know a lot of other people will at our clinic. But show us what you got to make sure this is about as so it can't be corrupted by anybody hacking into the system. This is not connected to online, so staff can be assured that there's a lot of integrity here. People's names are added when they get both vaccines. We're going to be giving out $100 gift cards each week until June 3rd, 6th, something in June, and then the lucky winner will get a year free of health insurance. So, Brett, you want to give it a whirl and see what the lucky person. Somehow I picture this being like a Vanna White thing. Like, you should be like standing in front of a. Oh boy, I feel like it should be drum rolls.
Okay, we've got a winner.
Do we?
Yeah, her name is Rose Adocta. Rose Adocta.
Rose Adocta. Come on down.
I don't know if you can see that.
So Rose Adocta, who Greg's just told me that I think I heard that she works for Heritage Road. Rose, congratulations. And if you know Rose, tell her she should make arrangements to see, I don't know what, Brett, email you or somebody, and you'll.
We're going to send her a e-gift card, a Visa gift.
Oh, perfect. Aren't we something? Brett, thank you so much for helping me out with that.
Sure thing.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Rose, if you're watching.
Congratulations. Okay, next week could be you. Now, without any further delay, I have Jim and Joanne Crafts waiting. They've been standing by. Their son Jake is one of the clients we serve. Hey guys, good to see you.
How are you?
Doing great. Sorry I had to do that little bit of business. I feel I want to make sure people know all the stuff that's going on. Now, you folks have obviously lived through this terrible pandemic with the rest of us. How was the past year for you? Was everyone in your family safe? Did you lose anybody? Obviously. You had Jake at home, and I'm sure that was a bit of an adjustment. And for people who don't know your son, he is featured in the video that we just released for Back to Better. And if we have time at the end, maybe we'll watch it as we go out. But talk to us about what the past year, just briefly, has been like for you folks, and how you all managed during this terrible experience.
Well, we're lucky where we haven't lost anyone in our family to the virus, and we're actually fortunate enough to Jake being the type of kid he is, he handled it better than any one of us, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it is attributed to you guys kept the Zoom classes going. I mean, he was, I think, he was, if not perfect attendance, he was pretty close.
Yeah.
But he looked forward to that, and he really enjoyed that. And then, when you guys allowed him to come back in September, I believe it was, he loves it. So.
Yeah.
Did you have any worries when he came back about him being exposed, about whether or not the standards would be kept up to the level that you expected? Was it sort of like a little bit of faith on your part? I would think it must have been.
I would say just a tiny bit. We had every confidence that he was going to be safe.
And when he the first day obviously was pretty nerve-wracking putting them on the transportation, which you guys practiced that separation perfectly, even on the transportation. And then when he came home a couple days afterwards, said, "Dad, they've got everything cordoned off. Everybody's covered up. There's, you can only walk certain places." You guys, he was very happy and felt he wasn't nervous at all. So we could see that was the sign we needed, because he was very comfortable, and he still is. He's up every morning early and he goes.
Well, that's so great to hear. Would you describe him as a social person? I mean,
Jake?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. And so, how much did he express to you any anxiety about not having seen his friends for so long, or did the virtual stuff really help? Not feeling, how you could be when maybe you haven't seen somebody, or for a while, and you feel kind of well. I'm maybe speaking for myself. You feel a little awkward maybe the first time you get together again, or did he express anything like that? Any angst in that way? Because I know some people are feeling that.
No, he was very comfortable. Every morning, the first thing I'd have to do is write down the schedule for him. He needed that schedule in front of him. And he was religiously in his room with the door shut.
But that was the Zoom, right?
The Zoom, yeah.
But no, the Zoom did not replace his social interaction, which is what he likes to do. So he did indeed benefit from the Zoom, but coming back, he was, much happier. How's that? If you could.
Your daughter Molly, is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's in college.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, was she home? I would imagine during the time, or did she? So was the family all reunited together again?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was it just happy, peace in the valley all the time, or did you start to go? No.
The beginning was a little hectic, but honestly, I think after a while we became, if you can believe it, closer, and kind of learned to survive in a different different way we were accustomed to. So I think.
And you folks, I assume you didn't work from home before, or maybe did you partly, or so it was an adjustment for you as well in your professional lives, I would think.
No, I didn't work. I work at the city library, and we shut down the same day. This time last year, we were shut down. So I was home for over 3.5 months.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Even now, I'm back at work full time, but we haven't had a person in the library for a year. Nobody can come into the library.
Still nobody can?
No.
In what library? Where do you work? Which one?
I work at the Everett Public Library.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a library to go program. People can call and get books, and we leave them in the lobby, but they cannot even step into the lobby of the library.
And Jim, what do you do? I don't even know.
I work from home, actually. I am a food broker, so all my work is done on the phone, and that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, so that worked out for you. Part of what we're talking about with Back to Better is this return to life. You hear people say return to normalcy, but the return to, back to how things used to be. And I don't know about you folks, but I don't think anything's ever really gonna be the same as it was before. I don't know if I'll ever, give somebody a hug again in my life. No, I probably will. I used to be a big hugger. I haven't shaken a hand for I can't tell you how long. And there's been whole parts of our business model that we've retooled to be able to do things remotely. And before I would have thought that would never happen. And I think some of our staff, and I think some of our clients may be, feeling a little reticent or ambivalent about coming back, and I just wondered if you had that feeling at all, Joanne, when you went back to the library, or maybe you've got a smaller staff, but you're like, well, if you work in Everett, you live in Everett, you probably don't have a long commute. But for people that maybe have got 40-minute commutes or live in New Hampshire, get in the car and drive down if you can just do the same thing, on your computer. But you lose something in it too, don't you?
You definitely do. You like you said before, you lose the interaction. It's not the same somebody calling you on the phone and saying, "Can you get me this book?" instead of having them in front of you and seeing them. So I miss the interaction every single day. So I can understand how Jake was anxious to get back and go into his routine and see the interaction of people and do that, because sitting there and not seeing everybody all day long is hard.
Mm-hmm. And as we begin to think about what our programs are going to look like, what our day service offerings, we've always prided ourselves on being kind of the leading edge and some, new, program design and the first to do the no walls programs and among other things. We're really trying to, figure out how to make this, this whole amalgam of like opportunity. In my mind, I have this idea of creating, lots of choices for people. So somebody maybe wants to maybe have a day at home and do some virtual stuff, or, maybe they're working 2 days and maybe they come in for a half day for volunteering or something else. But the idea of people having to do this, 9 to 3 in a facility-based program, I don't think that's going to be the way the future evolves, and nor should it be. None of us. I mean, some of us would like to work 9 to 3 every day, or whatever the case might be. But the world takes lots of people working lots of shifts, and maybe it's not going to fit suit somebody's schedule now, but in 6 months they might have a need for it or something like that. So that's what we're going to really be trying to do as we go forward. And I'm always interested to talk to families, because I'd like to see what it is that they want, because you're like, next to the people we serve, you're our number one customers, really. I mean, DDS pays us to do the work, but you're the only one I really care about making happy.
Well, if the kids are happy, and our son, thank God, is a happy kid, but he's very happy and he feels very safe when he goes to your facilities. And we ask him occasionally any incidents or anything, and he always says no. And he does mention that the staff, number one, and followed by the students, you're all obeying the social distancing aspect and the clean hands and all that, and it's working, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, we very shortly are going to be publishing a series of events, a calendar that are going to be spotlighting different, I have in mind like cookouts at our various location, and especially when the weather's a little nicer. So for some people to come back, or maybe we'll have a time when families can come too, and we can have some burgers. Or doesn't that sound good? A burger on a grill outside.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to do something. Let's get a keg. We'll make it a kegger.
Yeah.
Make it more interesting. I just like the way it sounds, kegger.
Yeah.
Like college. But just thinking about ways to begin to gently and gradually reunite us and knit us back together, because so many of the things we did before, we're focused around these big events. We'd go from one big event to another, and without, it may be a while before we're really able to draw those big crowds again. And so I want to find lots of smaller ways to re-engage people and to kind of reconnect with all of our people, because I miss people. I really genuinely do. The most fun I had was getting my vaccine, because I've seen so many people at the vaccine center. And Jay got his vaccine, right?
Yes.
We got both of them. Yes.
That's wonderful. How about you folks? Have you been vaccinated yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're
waiting.
trying the wall in the state and all that, but
We're waiting.
I hear it's going to start to really improve, like within days and weeks, really. So, what did you think of the video and your son's performance?
We thought it was great.
I thought
Wasn't it good?
Yeah,
It was a really nice video.
I wish I could say I had something to do with that, but I've just got the most extraordinary team and talented people, and that speaks to drivers, monitors, people at the front desk, welcoming people. I mean, really, it's an incredible organization. I'm so humbled to be a part of it. There may be people that are on today that didn't see it last week. Would you, if after we say goodbye, if you want to sign off, and we'll watch it again? You probably wouldn't mind seeing it again, right?
I've watched it many times, and I shouldn't tell you this, but I did post it on social media, and I've got a ton of friends who watched it and commented on it that's awesome. And again, I think
it's comforting. It's very comforting.
That's a good word for it. Jen, that's a good word for it. I thought it's really professional, and I don't know if you saw last week, but I was so taken when I first watched it, that last sequence of faces where people are saying back to better, back to better, back to better. And you see all these variety and diversity of masks.
Yeah.
And then you just see the series of people smiling, even though they've got their masks on. Do you know how hard it is to like see a smile? You have to have really expressive eyes, and I just thought it was a neat way to kind of end the whole thing, with people smiling at you, because we want to welcome people with smiles. We want everyone to feel that they've got a place, they're returning to something safe. And well, you folks have been incredible. Thank you so much for coming in and being our family representatives. It's been a while since we talked to anybody. You are so important to the organization, and you do lots of things, in lots of capacities. But I just appreciate you coming on today to talk with me and all of us here at NuPath.
It was an honor for us, and again, you guys are doing a great job, and we have the utmost confidence and trust in you that you'll keep up the good work and keep our kids safe. So
Thank you.
that's all we can say. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I will bid you farewell, and thanks again, and we will watch this video one last time. Thank you both, and tell Jake I said hi. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is where our friends are. Our extended family is ready when you are. NuPath, getting back to better.
We are working harder than ever before to make day services happier and healthier. NuPath is getting back to better.
Can't wait to see you all in person. NuPath's been working really hard to keep everyone safe. NuPath is getting back to better.
You'll be as comfortable here as you are at home. NuPath is getting back to better.
Our community is where we belong, and we're doing everything we can to get back there safely. NuPath is getting back to better.
We miss you, and I know you miss us too. We will see you soon. NuPath is getting back to better.
Your health and well-being continue to be our top priority. NuPath is getting back to better.
Let's get you back to work. NuPath is getting back to better.
NuPath may look a little different, but trust me, it's going to feel the same. NuPath is getting back to better.
We learned a great deal over this last year, and it's our commitment to continue our journey together. Better than ever before. NuPath is getting back to better.
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 Indeed. It is, it's a good thing we can't see into the future, because I'll tell you what, if I had known a year ago what lay before us, I think it would have been pretty daunting. And when I look back on some of my early communications back when this whole thing started, and when I think about just the uncertainty and the anxiety of just trying to make sure that we were going to be able to continue to, pay our bills, and that there'd be a new path, on the other side of this thing. We did it. We're getting there. We've still got some tough, a tough quarter or two, in all likelihood, financially, because even as we're reopening the Martin Center, and we'll be hopefully getting more and more people back. That's how we get our revenue. But we won't start to see, any payments for that attendance and that billing for, 30 to 45 days or longer in some cases. And we've got to, ratchet back up and pull staff in from furlough and hire staff in some cases at a time when, even though the unemployment rate is high, that people are, not looking in the traditional sense for jobs. So we've still got some rough water ahead of us, but I certainly feel like the worst is behind us. And when I said back in those days, we got this, sometimes I had to, ever hear that fake it till you make it? I mean, I believed, because we've always gotten through everything that we've needed to when we are true to our mission and our core values, and when we collaborate, and when we work as a community, and when we are availing ourselves of innovative options. All of those things, we are so much more likely to succeed, and we're going to get there. We got this, guys. Thank you so much for your attention today and for being a part of this. Look forward to see you all next week, and who knows what other great things will be on the horizons in a week from now. Things are going to speed up. So that's it. With that, I'll sign out. We got this. Bye now.